Hey everyone, in this video, I'm going to show you how to use while loops in Python. So while loops is something that you can use to repeat an action as long as a condition is true. And it's very simple. So in this example, we have I is equal to 0. And while I is less than 5, we're going to print out I and increment by 1. So let's see what this does. So let me explain what's going on here. At the very beginning, we have I is equal to 0. Is I less than 5? Yes, 0 is less than 5. Now it's going to print out 0. So it prints out 0 here. And then it increments I by 1. So 0 plus 1 is 1. Now, the loop repeats. Is I less than 5? Yes, because 1 is less than 5. So it prints out 1. So it prints out 1 like here. And then it increments 1. So now we have 2, and it repeats this until 4. So it prints out 4, then 4 plus 1 is 5, then it goes back into this while loop. So is 5 less than 5? No, it's not, right? So it's not going to print out 5. And there you go. This while loop here prints out from 0 to 4. What happens if we put an equal sign here? So while I is less than or equal to 5, we're going to print out I. And once we run the program, you can see that it also prints out 5. Right, so it's going to print out 5, and then 5 plus 1 is 6, then it goes back and it realizes that 6 is not less than or equal to 5. So it's going to end here. And when you see that you include the equal sign, it actually prints out the number 5. A common mistake that I think a lot of people make when they start out programming is they forget to include the I plus 1. So if I remove this and I run the program again, you can see that it actually just prints out 0 and 0 forever. So you can see that the terminal is still executing. So let's end it by pressing Ctrl C. Now, the reason why this is happening is because I is equal to 0, but you're never increasing it. So this condition is always true because 0 is always smaller than 5, and that's why it's printing out infinitely. You can also increase I by 2 instead of increasing it by 1. So when I run this program, it should print out 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. And there you go. This is the output. Now, just note that it prints out 10 because I include the equal sign here. But if I remove this equal sign, then it will not print out number 10. So far, I've shown you how to print out numbers in increasing order. But how about decreasing order? Well, let's see. We start at 5. And while I is greater than 0, we're going to print out the number and subtract I by 1. So theoretically, this should print out 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So we clear the terminal and we run again, and as you can see, it prints 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. If you want to include 0, all you have to do is just put the equal sign in. As an exercise, we can try printing out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and forever. So that would be I is equal to 0, or rather here, I should add 0 at the beginning. So I is equal to 0. And while true, meaning that this condition is always true, so it will execute this forever. So we're going to print out I and then increment by 1. So as you can see, in the command prompt, it prints out the number and it keeps increasing forever until I have to stop it by pressing Ctrl and C. Furthermore, we can use a while loop to print out a list. So we have a list of apple, banana, and coconut, and these are the indexes. And remember, the first index is always 0. So here we have I is equal to 0. And while I is less than the length, meaning we just want to go to the end of the list, we're going to print at index I. We have this item inside the list. And don't forget to increment I by 1. And you can see here it prints out at index 0, we have apple. At index 1, we have banana. And index 2, we have coconut. Let's do a simple game. And in this game, after the user finishes playing, we're going to ask them if they want to continue playing or if they want to exit from the game. So first of all, we're going to have a variable called play, and we set play equal to true. And while play is true, or rather we can also write while play equals to true, but this is more of the shorthand way, then we print out the game starts and wait until the game ends. We ask the user, do you want to play, yes or no? If the answer is no, we set play equals to false, we print out thank you for playing. So once play equals to false, it will no longer repeat this while loop and just exits from the while loop. Let's just say yes, and you can see it repeats itself. So the game starts and the game ends. And let's say we want to play one more time, and now we actually say no. So it exits outside of the while loop and it prints out thank you for playing. For our final example, we will do a nested while loop. So basically a nested while loop is when you have a while loop inside another while loop. And this is what we're going to do. We will print 0, 1, 2 and we do it 5 times. And to do our task, we will have a variable called number, and this number will represent the number of times that we did our task, like first time, second time, and so on. And while this number is less than or equal to 5, we will print out the number. And then this part here is responsible for printing out 0, 1, and 2. And finally, don't forget to increment our number. As you can see, for our first time, we print out 0, 1, 2. For our second time, we did the same until our 5th time, which we printed out 0, 1, and 2 as well. So that's it for today. In the next video, we will talk about if statements and functions.